So what do you think is the biggest difference or differences between like Ivy League and non-Ivy League college? Like how do these differences distinguish students during their 4 years of learning?
That's a good question, Kara. And I think I would maybe change the wording just a little bit. I'm sure Leo would agree with me here. I will call it the Ivy Plus, or I'll call it the top 25. Rankings are not officially accurate and perfect. They change every year. So generally speaking, I'll talk about the Ivy Plus range of schools though. And in my experience, you can get an excellent education in the United States, whether it's an Ivy Plus school or a small local university or something in between. Now, the difference, I think the biggest difference, and this is something that appealed to me a lot, is your classmates. The classmates at Columbia and at Yale Law were so talented that I was really forced. I mean, it's humbling. It makes you feel a little small if you didn't go to like a top boarding school or something. And I came from a public school. And I really loved that challenge. I was motivated and inspired by the students around me to be my best. And I realized, there's all these higher levels of achievement that I can get to. And I think if coming from, a poor state, West Virginia, and a public school, if I can go to a school like Columbia or Yale, that's really valuable. If you have grown up in Hong Kong, you've always been surrounded by students because you go to some really good international school or local school, then maybe that benefit would not apply as much. But for me, it was just really inspiring to be around the best, and it made me want to be better. And also, the other thing is the network it creates. Without even trying, I have hundreds of Yale lawyer friends on Facebook, and I could just, write an emergency message, stuck in Egypt, and they would suddenly all come to my rescue. But more, it's valuable for professional networking. I've met a lot of people who are now authors and who are executives, chief executives of startups and things like that. So that is a difference, but I think the difference is not that big outside of that. I think outside of that, the academic offerings at US schools, whether it's in my home state at West Virginia University or it's at Columbia, the academic offerings are similar. Really the biggest difference, and Leo and I, we talked about this too, is the grading. If you go to West Virginia University, 40% of the class is going to fail. At Columbia, the average grade is A minus B plus. Same at Yale. Oh, what do you think, Leo?
Yeah, I definitely agree that this tagging of like top 25 really is more something that a lot of students or parents think that, oh, I want to be, saying that when I come out of, into society, when I'm actually working, I got a good degree, I got a good schools that I've come from. But I think it's really just the education that's really, really important, right? And as far as like in terms of test prep, a lot of students think that, oh, because I don't get a good score, I can't go to these good universities, or because I get a really good score, I got to go to these top universities, right? I think the idea is that what is it that you want out of these 4 years of education is really more important. Different schools have different strengths and weaknesses. Just because you got a really good score doesn't mean that you are going to fit into one of these top elite universities, right? You don't have a good personality, right? Even though Collin didn't come from a boarding school, he can still mingle with a lot of people at one of these good universities. You can fit in. It doesn't matter what universities you go into. It doesn't really make a difference. I think it's important for students to really think about what they want out of these 4 years instead of saying, oh, I just want to go to this school because it has a good name.
Yeah,